The year was 1959. When the tropical state of Hawaii joined the U.S., the spacecraft Pioneer 4 was launched into the darkness of our solar system. And most importantly, the first airing of The Twilight Zone happened on TV. Okay, maybe this wasn't that important, but I'm still putting it in. 1959 was a time in which many citizens of the United States were living the American dream, except for one family in particular. More specifically, 4 members of the Clutter family. Herb Clutter, a father of 4, married to his wife Bonnie, who also perished, as well as an agriculture enthusiast, Kenyon Clutter and Nancy Clutter. The 2 eldest daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Clutter lived elsewhere, as they had lives of their own to tend to. You might be thinking, people pass every day, so what makes them so special? Their passing was no ordinary natural event. Oh no, this family had been murdered in 1959 by, quote, a person or persons unknown. Okay, that's also a lie. We actually know who the persons are, but I just thought it sounded really cool if I just used that little line from the book. On the night of November 14th, 1959, Dick and Perry drove to Holcomb, Kansas, where the family stayed. What happened in the time that the duo was at the Clutter House and when they left is unknown, but can you figure out what might have went down that night? Here's some evidence. Number 1. The Clutter family house had 4 entrances. The front door to Mr. Clutter's office, which was partly open when found. The 3rd door led to a utility room, and the 4th to the kitchen. The doors were never locked because Holcomb was a relatively safe place at the time. Number 2. Nancy's purse. It was open on the floor in the kitchen, and Nancy's bedroom was at the top of the stairs, and she was found in her bed, fully clothed with shoes on, shot in the back of the head, and blood was all over the walls. Mind you, she was also tied to her bed by rope. Number 3. There was a chair in the bathroom upstairs, and not your ordinary vanity chair. It was like a dining room chair. I don't know about you, but I don't eat in the bathroom, so I think that's pretty weird. Number 4. Kenyon's room. Kenyon was not currently present in the room. However, it did look like he was in it the night before, as his bed seemed as if it was slept in. His glasses were on the shelf, even though he could not see without them. So wherever he wasn't there willingly. Number 5. Mrs. Clutter. When she was found, her hands were tied together and they were also bound to her bed. Her eyes were wide open and she looked like she was praying. She still had her rings on and she was gagged. She was shot in the side of her head. Number 6. Mr. Clutter. In his bedroom downstairs, his covers were drawn back, and at the end of the bed was his billfold, and the contents inside were scattered. Number 7. Kenyon was located in the playroom in the basement, on the couch and tied to it, the same way that Mrs. Clutter had been tied to her own bed. He was gagged as well, pillows were popped underneath his head, and he was shot directly in the face, but you could still tell who he was. Number 8. Herb. He was the last one to be found on top of a cardboard mattress box. He had been shot in the face, but his throat was also cut. Somehow he managed to get his hands free from some type of rope. What rope is that? We have no idea. Number 9. On a steam pipe in the same room, there was a piece of cord dangling from it. It is believed that Mr. Clutter was previously hanging there, but we do not know for sure if that's the real truth. Number 10. There was a half-sole shoe print on the cardboard box that Mr. Clutter was found on. One more piece of evidence that should be taken into notice here. There were no shells from the bullets left, so whoever had shot them was smart enough to know not to leave them behind. All of the victims had been shot no more than probably 2 inches away from their face, and there were only 4 gunshots, each one going into each different member of the family. Another thing that was found in the house was Nancy Clutter's diary and her last entry. It should also be noted that the Stokelands who lived on the farm with the Clutters had not heard a single gunshot that night. Bobby Rupp was the last person to see them alive, instantly making him a suspect. It should also be noted that Mr. Clutter cashed a check for $60 the day before, so there was most likely $50 left behind. So the question here is, why would anyone kill somebody for $40? Mr. Clutter also signed a life insurance policy for $40,000 the same day of his death. Now, that's really crazy. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's wild. The detectives who are on this case are the lead, Alvin Dewey, and his team. Now, it's up to you. Can you figure out what went on in that house that night? I don't know, this is probably going to be really fun, and you're going to get to solve a crime, and I'm probably just going to be sitting in I don't know, DIT, being bored out of my mind, so you better enjoy this and not complain about you having to do this work. Okay, thank you! Also, one more thing, it is currently 5 o'clock in the morning, and and I'm just afraid because I'm reading about some people getting murdered in the middle of the night, and now I think I'm gonna get murdered in the middle of the night. Alright, anyway, that's enough of me talking. You get on your work, and bye.